Hey guys, Miss Limer here to talk about counting money. So when we are counting money, there's quite a few things that you have to remember. Counting money is something that you've been doing since probably first grade. So it's something that now in third grade, we're really just trying to perfect, get as best as we can at it. So when we're counting money, you know that there's 4 different coins that we count in third grade. We have our penny, which is worth 1 cent. Right? The front of the penny and the back of the penny. It can be written in 2 different ways. $sign, 0.01, or 01 with the cent sign. We have the nickel, the front of the nickel and the back of the nickel. 2 different ways you can write the value of a nickel. $sign, 0.05, or 05 and then the cent sign. Nickel's worth 5 cents. Our dime, here's the front and the back of the dime. Here's 2 different ways you can write the value of a dime, $sign, 0.10, or 10 cents. A dime is valued at 10 cents. And then we have a quarter, front and back of the quarter, $sign, 0.25, or 25, and then the cent sign. A quarter is valued at 25 cents, okay? Now, there's also bills, and you know the bills. We have the dollar bill, the $5 bill, $10 bill, $20 bill, $100 bill, $50 bill. So there's always different bills to count as well as the coins, okay? So when you're counting coins, it's really, really important to remember a few things. When you look at a problem with coins in it, they're not always going to be in order. They're going to be randomly mixed. So you've got to get really good at knowing what those coins look like and being able to identify those and count all the quarters first, and then the dimes, and then the nickels, and then the pennies, right? So you have to know what those coins look like in order to do that. If you're still getting your nickels and dimes mixed up or your nickels and quarters mixed up, you have to learn what they look like, okay? Because if you think that a dime is a quarter, you're going to count that as 25 instead of 10, and it's going to mess up your whole number. So remember, when you're counting coins, if you count just one coin wrong, it makes your whole answer incorrect. So when we're counting coins, there's a certain way that I have my class count coins. So here's my example, and these are in perfect order. They will not always be in perfect order. They're going to be mixed up on the page, but I put them in order so that you could see how we count them. So in my class, when we count coins, we start with the greatest value, and that does not always mean the greatest size. Now, the one with the greatest value in this set is a quarter, and it is the biggest, but the next greatest value is a dime, which is not the biggest, the largest size. So you have to be careful to count by value and not by size. So when we're counting coins, my advice to my students is to cross out the coins as you go, because you don't want to accidentally count one more than once, because once again, it'll throw your answer off and your answer will be wrong. So when I'm counting coins, I like to count all of the greatest value first. So I'm going to count all the quarters first, and I say 25, 50 cents. After I count all my quarters, I update my total. So I'm going to say 50 cents. So that's my updated total. And this is good for, say you're counting a bunch of quarters and then you go onto the dimes and you forget, oh my gosh, how many quarters did I have? Well, now you have your quarter total, which is 50 cents. And sometimes you could even write Q equals for quarters equal 50 cents. After the quarters, you're going to move on to the next greatest value coin. If you have all the coins represented, your next greatest value coin is going to be your dime. So you start at your 50 cents and you keep counting on. So 50, 60, since a dime is worth 10 cents, 70 cents. So now I have a new total. So I'm going to cross out that 50 because I don't need that anymore. Now my total is 70 cents. Okay, once again, we're going to start counting with the next greatest value, which is our nickel, counting by fives. So 70. And a lot of third graders, since you were already counting by tens, you keep counting by tens when you get to that nickel. You can't do that. You've got to remember each coin has its own value. So here we have 70, 75, 80. So I've got a new total. And then we move on to our coin with the least value, which is going to be our penny. So 80, 81 cents, 82 cents is our total, which can be written in a few different ways. It can be written like this, or it can be written as $0 and 82 cents. And when you're writing it with the dollar sign, you do not need that cent sign also. Okay, so a few things to remember when you're counting money. Start with the greatest value first, not the greatest size. Okay, so we're going from our quarters to our dimes to our nickels to our pennies. Okay, after you count each type of coin, go ahead and record the total that you're at just in case you lose your counting spot. Don't forget about the bills. A lot of money questions have bills, like a dollar bill or a $5 bill, 10, 50, 20, 100. You have to count the bills too. Now, if you have coins and bills, I tell my students to count the bills first. Bills first, because those are a greater value than our coins. So when you're counting money, you have to be very careful, because if you count one coin wrong or you make one mistake, it makes your entire answer wrong. And so if you think about it in the real world, people who deal with money like cashiers, they can't count wrong because you're dealing with people's money. People who work at a bank, you have to be careful with counting money because people need their money, right? So if you give them back too much, you're going to get in trouble. If you give them back too little, the person's going to be mad. So when you're counting money, you have to be super, super careful.